Hey everybody, welcome back to One Word Trail Music Speaks podcast, where we fight depression with the power of music. I'm your handicapped host, James Cox, and I have an awesome interview today with Juan Gonzalez, nicknamed Punchy, I've just been told, which is great. I love that. First, let me tell you about it first. So, combine the classic sounds of the Beatles, Queen, and the Beach Boys, give it a modern twist, and what do you get? That's right. It is a deliciously irresistible cosmic punch that's out of this world. The tastes then are wide and varied, which brings a unique flavor to the music. Then the newest release, The Club of Nerd Dads, came out on the holidays of May 4th, since Disney dropped the ball yet again with the Star Wars related projects. Juan, how's it going, man?
It's going good. I'm going to issue a slight correction there.
Okay.
I think you were reading the press release from the last record.
Yes.
The newest record is called For All Nerd
Yes.
Kind.
And I did watch it, and I did listen to that too. Yeah, because I was like, okay, well, that's because Clever Nerd Dads that has been out for a while, right?
Yeah, it came out during the pandemic,
Yeah,
so
2020.
2020. Yeah.
Yeah. So, uh, you and me were talking earlier about the Florida weather. Now you said it's pretty predictable. I lived in Florida one time because my dad's was stationed there, but I don't.
Where?
Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. So he was at
Okay, nice.
McDill,
Yep. Big deal, yep. McDale, yeah.
CENTCOM, the
Yeah.
second overkill zone for any nuclear weapons, like war, any
Yes.
nuclear war. They're gonna
Right.
hit DC first, and then they're gonna hit Tampa next. So we're just gonna get vaporized down here if
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
there's ever a good old nuclear war like they've been promising us since the
Yeah.
60s.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, I live. My dad now lives in Sumter, and they said that Sumter is a very last resort, and I don't know if that's true. Have you heard of that?
Sumter.
Sumter,
Is that in Florida?
Sumter, South Carolina.
Oh,
That
Sumter, South Carolina.
yeah, because I live.
Well, that's possible. I mean,
Yeah,
I would venture to think that they would hit all the coastal cities,
yeah.
but or at least any states that are near the coast. But I would guess. I mean, there's I don't I- is there I don't is there any military activity in South
Oh yeah,
Carolina?
there's Shaw Air Force
Charlotte.
Base.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Charlotte.
Charlotte,
Oh, it's gone.
right, and then
It's
the
gone.
Shaw Air Force Base is in Sumter, and I think my
Right, 'cause
dad.
there's a big aircraft carrier there in Charlotte. That's right.
Yeah. So, yeah. So first of all, okay. So you are a busy man. Okay. So I have you as a touring and production agent, record producer, theater producer, and of course science fiction nerd. And
Yes, that's
and
true.
and you are an international sex icon. Is what your website says.
That is correct.
That is correct.
It is a
Okay.
burden. It is a burden to carry,
Yes, very much
but
so.
someone has to do it.
Somebody, and why not you, right?
Why
Why
not
not?
me?
Why not you? You know, it all falls on you, brother. Yeah, but okay. So let me ask you this: since we mentioned Star Wars and you're a nerd just like I am, um, do you like Star Trek and Star Wars? Which
I
one
like
is
I like Star anything, man.
Star anything?
Star Wars, Star Trek,
Starship
Starship
Battle.
Troopers.
Yep.
I mean, like I don't care. I love science fiction, and the new record has a song dedicated to original series Star Trek. It opens up with the Star Trek song. Um, the last record I did the song Keyboard Warrior, which is
Yes.
about all of
Yeah.
the angry Star Wars nerds on their keyboards and getting angry with each other. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm a total sci-fi geek. Okay, I will say this. I don't understand Doctor Who. I don't get it. But I mean, other people do, and that's
That's
cool.
totally
You know what I
fine.
mean?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I don't, I don't understand the TARDIS because they said it's like an acronym for something. I'm like, okay, that's cool and everything, but I don't understand TARDIS and Doctor Who, and I don't get all that jazz.
I mean, I
But
understand the premise behind it. I don't
yeah,
understand the allure. but
Right.
it's okay. I don't have to.
It's all
You know what I
right.
mean? I don't like eating squash either. So, but that doesn't mean you have to remove it from the dinner table. Just
Right.
don't put it on my plate. I'm
There
good.
we go. Yeah, squash is not good for me either. But okay, so let's end all the talking stuff between Star Wars and Star Trek. Which one is better and why? Because I mean, if you're a nerd just like me, but if I could say something, Star Wars is my end all be all. You know, not the letter years, 4, 5, 6. You know, of course.
Okay. All right. So you're an original
I'm
trilogy
original, dude.
guy.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
mean, I'm
you know,
44, so I mean,
I hear
yeah,
you. Well,
yeah.
I got a couple years on you. I'm 52, so
Okay,
I
nice.
actually saw 4, 5, and 6 in the theaters when I was a
Oh,
kid,
nice. Yeah, I bet that was fun.
oh, it was awesome. I mean, of course
Yeah,
it was. You know,
right. Yeah,
um, man, which one's better? It's not fair
right, right.
because they're different things. You
Yeah,
know, it's like trying to compare Coca-Cola to Sprite. They're
yeah.
they both have their place.
Right,
You know what I mean? I uh I love both equally. I don't I mean I have toys from both. Like my office at the theater that I work at, it's just laden with starships from Star Trek and a little bit of Star Wars and you know my kid's room is all Star Wars
right.
his room is the room I wanted when I was a kid and so he never had a chance. It was like I mean he had his room was decorated Star Wars before he even could crawl. So
Yeah,
unfortunately for him, he will like Star Wars. Damn it, he just will like it.
exactly, exactly. Yeah. Well, I guess the argument is comparable, though. Also good though, because you have lightsabers versus phasers. You know.
There you go.
But see, I think that the Star Wars lore is a lot bigger and wider than Star Trek. Although I
Um,
never read the book, so then again, I don't know. So
well, you know, it's funny because Star Wars, to me, Star Wars is a cinematic experience, whereas Star Trek is more of a television experience.
yes,
And you know, the Star Trek original series characters, those movies were unbelievably epic. Um, uh, the Next Generation had one really good movie, and that was the First Contact, the
yeah,
one with the Borg. That was
yeah,
really good. The other ones not so much,
right.
especially Generations because they killed Kirk. But
Yeah,
that movie is
yeah, that was fun.
forever the worst movie in Star Trek history. And then they
Yeah,
did those reboots, the JJ reboots,
yeah.
and
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 those were okay. Those were okay.
they were
Yeah,
all right. I mean, they looked
yeah,
fantastic. They looked spectacular. But
right.
I have a real big problem with the whole alternate timeline not sticking to canon thing. You know, because you have already have this incredible universe that you can write within.
Right.
And the parameters are not that strict. You know, that's just this stuff's already happened, so you can reference it, but you can't change it. And when you decide, well, I heard this thing, well, they're writing the stories they want to write. Yeah, well, they suck at it because they're not adhering to some basic rules. You know, you can write story. I mean, there's so much Star Trek to tell, and there's so much Star Wars to tell. I mean, the original extended universe books, the video games, all of that doesn't interfere with the history or the canon of Star Wars or Star Trek,
Mm,
period. So when you have to invent alternate timelines and you have to invent this nonsense to to be able to tell your story, that's just lazy writing to
right.
me.
Yeah.
That's just lazy, and then that just means that we have a lot of people in Hollywood that just are really bad at their jobs.
Especially
And
nowadays. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, if we want to talk bad at their job, let's talk about The Acolyte. My Lord, what a horrible, horrible show. And
Yeah.
and it and I don't forget about all of the politics involved in it,
But yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's just bad writing, and it's over budgeted bad writing, and they couldn't have picked like a cast of characters that were just lamer than this cast of characters, and it was written by lame people,
Yeah.
for lame people because it's funny, like the people that I see that are into it. I'm like, wow, man, I have no interest in going in a beer with you, dude. You're
Right. Yeah.
terrible. You know, you're or girl, you're terrible.
Right.
But then again, they probably think I'm a jerk. So whatever. Just listen to
Yeah.
my record.
Very good. Actually, I saw this on your cosmicpunch.com, which everybody should go to now. Come back later, and buy all of his merchandise, y'all. It says it says that Donald Trump listens to your record while he's on the toilet. Is that true? Is that true or
No,
false? Or
no, no,
false
no.
made up?
When I made the website, I just wanted to be ridiculous.
Yeah, good job.
The whole point of Cosmic Punch is it's supposed to be fun. There's not a
Yeah,
depressing note in it. I'm not trying to change the
yeah,
world. I'm
right.
not trying to depress people or make some sort of political statement or any kind of nonsense like that. It's about science fiction. It's about nerds. The earlier records had your basic love songs and stuff like that in it, and I wanted to take the project into a total nerd fandom world. To me, that's a lot more fun than trying to depress people or
Right,
tell them how much I love you. There's so much of that already. Enough.
right,
I mean,
right,
chicks aren't going to listen to it anyway. So, I mean, like, you might as well just make it like nerdy. At least the nerdy chicks will listen to it and think it's cool.
right, right. Which is all good. Yeah, yeah. But man, you sucker me, and I'm like, Donald Trump really said that about us. I'm like, yes, dude. And I'm nothing for politics, but when you have somebody that may commenting on your, so you suckered me right in, man. That's good job on you.
Hey, no worries, no worries. But yeah, the whole thing about like, yeah, I listen to Cosmic Punch while I'm sitting on the
Yeah,
toilet. That's obviously not a real quote.
right. Yeah.
Neither is I think I did one from Chancellor Merkel of Germany, like just to be a jerk, you know what I mean? I mean, because it's
Right.
silly. It's
Yeah.
so silly. These people would never listen to this music. They should.
No.
Look at that.
Okay.
You're right.
No, no,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, back to the music now. We did talk about Star Wars, but now we talk about music, and I love your music because it's such a good vibe. Because I am a nerd at heart, and I feel like you are inspired by bands that I was and I am. You have an album called, let me see here, Claypit Road, which is so great, right? So you said featuring Beatles, Queen, and somebody else.
Beach Boys.
Beach
I mean,
Boys, Beach
yeah.
Boys, yes, sir.
Yeah, that
Um,
record was definitely like an ode to Queen and Beach
yes,
Boys and Beatles. That was the first record, and the first uh, two records. Okay, so Claypit Road wound up becoming a record called FM Stereo. We released Claypit Road. It had 8 songs on it, and then got signed to a little minor label, and they wanted 4 more songs on it. They wanted like a 60-minute record basically.
yeah,
So we added some songs, and that became FM Stereo. And so if you ever hear songs from FM Stereo or Claypit Road, they go, "Wow, these are identical." They are identical.
right,
But I had a writing partner at the time, this guy named Ryan Mikulski, Ryan Cosmonaut, great songwriter, and he and I put these records together. That one and Auto Reverse, and that was when the project was trying to mix it up with like your basic kind of retro rock and add a little bit of nerdiness here and there. But he left the band, and I said, okay, well, if it's just me now and I'm going to do everything, then it'll just be nerds. It'll just be straight up nerd
right,
music for nerds, written by a nerd for nerds. And if somebody else likes it, good for them. But it's not for them,
yeah,
you know.
right.
For us, by us.
Hey
Like
man,
FUBU.
what else can you ask for? You right? Yeah, but my co-host Amanda, she apologizes because she can't be here today with me to interview you. But she says that you have a Brian May guitar exclusively for that recording. If I
For the new record.
for
For the new record.
new
For
record, okay.
for all nerd kind, I used a Brian May guitar. Matter of fact, I got it back here. I'm not going to get it out of the bag.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I'll show it. Hang on.
Yeah. Sure.
Is it?
Oh, nice. Yeah. Uh-oh.
It lost me. There you
Yeah,
go. Hey,
oh, yeah.
there it is.
Yeah.
Brian May
Nice,
guitar. Yeah. Really fun guitar. It's got great sound to it, and I used it exclusively on the new record for all the guitars. It just I wanted the record to have that tone, and I even mimicked through software because I don't have
Right.
an AC30 amp or any of that stuff, but I mimicked through software his guitar tone. I researched his like signal path and how what he puts in line and whatever, and I tried to get as close to the Queen guitar tone as you possibly can without having his fingers. I mean, that at the end of the day, you can have all the equipment in the world to try to match your favorite players, but you won't have their hands. So it'll be close, but it'll never be that. You
Right.
know?
Right. Yeah. So, correct me if I'm wrong, because I probably got this wrong too. But the new album was released almost like a year ago.
New. So it was supposed to be.
Okay.
And because I have my own studio and my own facilities, I don't have a deadline, I don't have a label or anything like that. So I just
Right.
sat there and tweaked it into oblivion.
Okay.
And I put it out this year, but the original release date
Okay.
with the distributor was from last year, from October.
That's
But no, it came out.
Yeah.
This year.
So I knew I was wrong because Apple Music says 2023.
Yeah.
That's
No,
not
it
right.
came out. It came out in
Okay.
June.
Okay. And this is a concept album, right?
It is a concept album.
Okay.
It's basically my journey as a nerd from my childhood until now.
That's
So
what, yeah.
so
Okay.
so I my first memories of any kind of science fiction was my mother, who used to watch reruns of Star Trek: The Original Series.
Mhm.
You know, with Kirk and Spock and all that. And so it's that, and then as a child, some of the great television shows that were created by Glenn A. Larson, who is one of my personal writing heroes. That's a guy that could take any concept and write about it and make it awesome.
Right.
And I don't know if you know who Glenn A. Larson was, but Glenn A. Larson is the guy that he wrote Knight Rider, and he wrote for the $6 Million Man, Buck Rogers, Battlestar Galactica. I mean, in the song, if you listen to the song, I list a bunch of his creations just because he's such an awesome guy. On the last record, I did another tribute song for Mike Post, who was a famous television theme writer. And I wrote a song about him in the style of him. And,
Oh wow. Yeah.
yeah. So the Glenn A. Larson song is since Glenn A. Larson didn't write music, at least I'm aware of, I just basically wrote about how awesome he is as a writer and how much he influenced my life and my happiness as a child. And then song 3 is called Afternoon Cartoons, and that's pretty self-explanatory. Song 4 is the single, which is I Love Anime.
Right.
Because I love anime, and anime was such a huge part of my life growing up. And then song 5 is literally the song called Growing Up. And it's a point when you get in your teenage years and your late teens, and you have to grow up, and everything just kind of you start to realize how much things are kind of a drag. You know, it's not as fun as being a kid. And then song 6 is Sign of the Times, and it's what I've noticed is that and I'm guilty of this myself, going on to social media, and you got to put your opinion in anyway, even if nobody asks for it. You got to put your opinion in, and that was that. And then Mint and Box is really one of the more fun songs on the record. Mint and Box is about toy collectors that never open their toys. So and the progression of the song is he meets a girl, and she comes to his house, and he's like, "Hey, check out my toy collection."
And they're all in boxes, right?
Well, these are the ones that are on display.
Okay,
The other
yeah.
ones are in the closet. Those are mint in box.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And then the song progresses where they get married and they have children and you're never gonna get me to stop collecting toys.
Right.
And then song 8 is a song called Woke, and this song is an argument between a woke and a non-woke science fiction nerd, done in the style of Jeff Steinman Meatloaf songs.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
you know,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's 7.5 minutes long,
Well,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
unbelievably overproduced. I hired a girl singer to be, because every Meatloaf song has the girl singer that comes in randomly and starts singing duets with him, right? So, or at least the big hits are like Paradise by the Dashboard Light and I Would Do Anything for Love. These great Meatloaf songs. And so I hired this girl named Samantha Martin from Orlando, who's a great singer. She plays in a cover band up in Orlando. And then I hired a gentleman from Chicago who played all the horn section parts. So all the horns that you hear are real horns. So it's just really overproduced and it's just ridiculous. And every time I listen to it, I just kind of giggle at how much went into this completely nonsensical song about, which was an argument about people that are woke and non-woke arguing with each other. But then when you hear them singing the duet section, you realize that they're saying the same things to each other.
Without realizing that they are,
without realizing they're saying the exact same things to each other. And it's okay to have different opinions. It really is. It's kind of cool. And then the last song, When the Season Starts Again, is about streaming services and how we wait an entire year to watch 10 episodes in a week, and then we got to wait another year, and we're just paying. We're paying through the nose for all this entertainment, and it's not enough.
I'm kind of blamed on that one because I love watching. I don't like waiting for shows to come out every week, you know.
Yeah.
And when they came out with the streaming service, I could watch Friends all one time and not, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just fantastic to me. And I watch Office over and over and over again. But question about Mint in the Box. Did you get inspired by the 40-year-old virgin? Because that's the only movie I've ever seen where he has all of them mint in box.
Well, mate, I was that guy. I wasn't a 40-year-old virgin. Don't get me wrong. But I have always been a toy collector. Matter of fact, my children to this day, they're playing with some of the same toys that I played with when I was 6.
Right.
Because I kept them in such incredible condition.
Yes.
And because they have no resale value, I'm like, what the heck? Let the kids play with it. Even though I've kept this thing for 40 years and never opened it. What the heck? Let the kids play with it. I can't sell it anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So my kid has they have the Fisher Price castle. I'm sure you don't remember this thing, but it was this awesome castle thing for Weebles, and they have my original Mego Batman car from the TV show Batman. Wow. Yeah. I mean, they got all this stuff, and they're playing with it, and they love it, and I love it too. Being a dad, I get to buy toys for my kids and play with toys. It's awesome.
I'm pretty sure I still have my He-Man and my Turtles and G.I. Joe somewhere up in my mom's attic, man. But I think some of those can go for like buku bucks. Other G.I. Joes like dime a dozen, you know.
Yeah, no, it's right. And look, at the end of the day, it's injection molded plastic.
Right.
So you know, it's just dime a dozen kind of nonsense. It's just a question about, were you lucky enough to have that one action figure that was considered rare, and if you were you smart enough to not open it? Okay, cool. Then you might have a $200 or $300 toy. Yeah. But that means you still have to get rid of it. You still have to sell it. You can't take it with you. You gotta
find the right buyer. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't take it with you.
No.
And if you account for the rate of inflation, it's probably the same thing anyway. So it didn't really increase in value so much as money just decreased in value.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I think one of the main figures or toy sets that I'm really mad that I didn't ever find was the Krang's Technodrome from Turtles. I could never find that
Oh,
big,
you couldn't
big.
find it?
No, I think they're everywhere. I'm like, God, you know. I still
Yeah, there
wouldn't
were
have
certain
it.
toys for me that evaded me.
Right.
Like one of them was not the G1, but the G2 Snake Eyes from GI Joe, the
Yeah,
one
it's
that
so hard
came
to
with
find.
the
Yeah.
one that came with Timber the wolf.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
I could not find that in any store, and I
Mhm.
scoured every toy store, and I don't know, I was 14 at the time. I was
Yeah.
still
Mhm.
playing with GI Joes like a child.
Who cares
But I
at
mean,
the
like
time?
I didn't care. You know, I
No.
did, and I still don't care. You know, I
Right.
really don't. Matter of fact, like my office is a spotlight booth in a theater, right?
Yeah.
So you can look into my office and see like the spotlights, and obviously the spotlights have to shoot through, and I have along the ledge all of my Star Trek
Right.
uh, starships. Enterprise B, D, Klingon Bird of Prey, and Borg Cube, all the stuff, and I have all the time I see patrons at the theater coming and taking selfies with my toys because they just think they're hilarious. I
Yeah.
have, like the whole thing is just, it's fun. And
Yeah.
there's so many grown-ups that people that are my age in the 50s or whatever, uh, they uh, they really appreciate it.
Yeah.
They really
Yeah.
do.
One more thing about the toys is I think the '80s toys will never die because I've seen the band I forgot the band's name, but the drummer had Skeletor, the original Skeletor on his actual drum kit while he was working. I'm like, thank God for '80s toys, man. '80s toys will never die. I don't know what it is.
No, and Skeletor was such an awesome character.
Yes.
He really was. Even with Frank Langella playing him in the Masters of the Universe movie that Cannon
Yes.
put out with Dolph Lundgren.
Right.
I mean, even that version of Skeletor is awesome.
It's creepy
You know,
though.
like
Yeah. Yeah. He was a lot more creepier than the cartoon was. Um, but okay, so
yeah, for sure.
right. I mean, because I've never seen anything like that, and Beastman was always one of my favorites too. Um, but okay, so we talked about overproduced albums, and on your website, cosmicpunch.com, everybody should go there. It says it says okay. So was this whole album overproduced according to you, or was that one song?
No, the whole record.
Okay,
The whole
okay,
record is just, it's insanity. If you
all
listen
right,
to it in headphones, there's so much happening, and I just believe in the concept that Motorhead had, and that was everything louder than everything else.
right,
And the term overproduced was something that was given to bands like Queen and stuff that were just stacking instruments and doing all these crazy
vocals,
things. And
yeah,
I'm not likening myself to their genius,
right,
but I that's the only thing that's what I think sounds good. I don't
right,
like stripped down rock and roll. I really don't.
yeah. I mean,
I want to hear everything.
yeah. So when you were producing this out, making the mix, how do you know that it was finally done since you're your own worst critic? With like
Well, that's the problem. I
Right?
spent way too
Yeah.
much. I spent way too much time mixing this record,
Okay.
which is why it said I had a October 23 release, and it came out in June of 24.
Yeah.
I kept massaging that record in different directions for different audiences. Like I'm like, I'll make this a little bit more of a pop mix. I'll make this a little heavier mix. I'll do this. I'll do that. And at the end of the day, what the straw that broke the camel's back was I had been working on the record pretty much nonstop for over a year in the mix stage,
Mm.
um, and I just said, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm feeling creatively beat, and it's time for me to put the stupid thing out. I had completed the music video, which took me almost a year to make as well, and I don't know if you've seen the music video or not, but the music video is all CGI. I generated all the CGI. I did everything. I mean, just the rendering time on the video alone is almost a week
Right.
to render the thing. So it was just like, okay, this thing is done, and in many ways, it's more of a luxury to have an actual deadline because you have to put it out,
Right.
right?
Yes. Yes.
I'm working without a deadline. I can do what I want. So I had to have these self-imposed deadlines. And in this particular case, I just said, okay, I'm done. I'm good. I don't think I can make this sound better. I'm sure people would disagree. I'm sure there's going to be engineers that listen to it and go, "Oh, I can make that sound better," because everybody knows two things in what their butt smells like and sound. You know what I mean? So, but
Which is true. Yeah.
yeah, you recognize your own farts and a bad record. So I said, okay, I'm done. The video's done. I'm done. It's time to put this thing out and just and move on, because I have a whole other record in me for a totally different project that I want to put out, and I can't get to it until I'm done with this.
Right. Exactly.
So.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you mentioned CGI when you were just explaining that, and that's sort of like AI. I want to ask you about AI music and where do you think it's going? Because I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that there is going to be like a court order to stop AI music from happening because it's taken away from the actual. No, have you heard that?
Never gonna stop. It's never gonna stop. No, look. At the end of the day, AI has always made music, in that you have your bands, right, and then you have somebody else that acts as the brain of the band. That's an exterior person, whether it be the artist and repertoire person, A&R guy that works for the label, who's deciding what sounds good and what doesn't sound good on your record. Your lyrical content is policed by your record label or policed by television or whatever. So there's always some sort of artificial intelligence that goes into making anything that you do.
Right.
Now, computers are doing it, and it's going to allow the virtually talent-free to be able to make talented sounding things. And I guess it's par for the course. Years ago, David Bowie had this quote where he said, "One day music will be like water or electricity. We really don't care who makes it. We only know we like it."
Yeah.
Right? So does that mean that the musician is like the dodo bird and we're eventually going to be extinct? Probably not. Probably not like that.
Right.
I think that people are going to start to use artificial intelligence as a means to create. Now with the CGI stuff, that wasn't AI. That was old school,
right?
Old school computer animation. That's terrible. But I mean, it's already bad enough.
Right.
It's bad enough. But I have been using AI to make these lyrical videos, and lyrical videos are where you have your song playing and you've got your lyrics popping up on screen, and then there's various visuals for people to see, and it would just take me way too long to do all of that. And I want to get product and content and view counts, etc., keep my subscribers happy or that kind of thing. So as a means to an end, it definitely, it's also time consuming. To wait for the computer to do all these things, and you have to put the right prompts in, and you have to start over and start again because the prompt made the computer do something stupid and it doesn't look cool. So there is some of that. There's still creativity going on. I feel bad for people that are digital artists.
Yeah.
Meaning people that do visual medium, like guys that make record covers and that kind of thing, because in all fairness, AI is kicking their butts.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean, well, it doesn't mean that they aren't talented. I can tell you that as a guy that uses computers to make music, and that I'm using plugins and digital audio workstations, and it's not tape machines and all that like back in the day.
Right.
I have way more tools available to me than the Beatles did.
Yeah.
To make music. I don't have the talent. You know what I mean? But I have way more tools available to me. Right? So I wonder what a Beatles record would sound like
today
if it was recorded today.
Yeah.
Like what would Sgt. Pepper's be like? How would John Lennon react to pitch correction and that kind of stuff? I mean, how would that work out?
Right.
Would we ever get those Beatles records ever? Because they have no deadline anymore because they could work on it forever.
Right, and overproduce them.
And overproduce them.
Or, right, yeah, yeah. But I love you for creating lyric videos because I love lyric videos because if you can sing with the song, that's 10 times better than figuring out the lyrics yourself. You know.
For sure. It's not like the old days where you would have the big old vinyl and it had the lyric sheet where the disc
Right.
would go in to like the paper and had the lyric sheet on the paper.
Right.
Or the CD, the booklet. Those were great times. It's different now. People don't buy. Well, there are some people that are still buying pieces of plastic to listen to music on. But most of the time, people are just streaming. It's they're using Spotify or whatever, Apple, to listen to music. I mean, when you have an entire Tower Records in your phone.
Yeah. Why would you need physical stuff, Yeah, so yeah. But I did hear, and this is true, that if fans support their favorite bands, you should buy their physical merchandise because like 95% of it goes to them instead of the actual streaming service.
Well, not 95%, but a better percentage.
Right? Yeah, a lot more percentage. Yeah.
A better percentage goes to the artists.
Right.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Physical media will always be the best way to distribute wealth to an artist.
Yes.
It used to be that concerts were the commercial for the piece of plastic that you were selling in a store somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, your music is your business card and your live show is how artists are making money.
Right. Exactly.
So I mean, very few of them make money off of streaming or royalties from radio play and stuff like that. They're making money on that $200 concert ticket that you're paying for.
Right. Yeah. Right.
That's how they make their money.
Right. Exactly. So I have about 4 more quick questions for you, and then I'll let you go.
Sure.
So it says that you are a tour manager on your Podmatch, and I would like to thank Podmatch for getting us together and you reaching out to me on Podmatch. First question is, do you manage anybody right now? And if so,
right.
what?
I'm a retired tour manager.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I did that for 23 years.
Oh, nice.
Touring all over the world with all kinds of pop, rock, and metal bands. A lot of metal. I did a lot of heavy metal, death metal. That kind of stuff. But every once in a while, I dust off the old laminate, and I'll go and do a weekend warrior thing with one of my former bands that I worked for. For example, I remember telling you I was going on a trip at the end of July. I'm going down to South America with a band called Symphony X, which is like prog metal.
You're right.
They're great.
Yeah.
They're really great.
Yeah.
And it's one of those bands that like will get me out and go, yeah, sure, I'll go, because it's such a thrill to actually mix them, because I do front of house sound for them as well as tour manage, which means that I'm doing all the logistics of getting them in and out of the venue, collecting the money from the promoters, getting them onto airplanes and that kind of stuff. I'm that guy with the cricket bat and Spinal Tap. That's me,
yeah.
Right? So I'm going down there for 2 weeks with those guys. I'm going to do 3 dates in Brazil, 1 date in Chile, 1 in Peru, and 1 in Costa Rica. Yeah. And it's going to be a lot of fun. The last time I toured with them was 2 years ago, and oddly enough, it was South America. I wonder why they keep hiring me for South America. Could it be my name? No, I'm just kidding. No, I do speak Spanish. Speak Spanish, so it makes it a little easier.
Right.
But no, I work for the band in Europe and in America as well.
Okay.
As well as other bands like Morbid Angel and Nile, and I did pop music. I did Alexa Ray Joel, who was the daughter of Billy Joel, and I did that for a few years. And, I mean, it's just been. I have a pretty decent resume, but I would usually stick with a band for a long time. 10 years, which is 5 years, 10 years.
Because that builds up like a strong relationship between you and band, and it makes them even more excited for you to come back and work with them later on down the road.
Sure. Like with Morbid Angel, I produced 2 records for that band, as well as even though I drum tech, guitar tech, did sold merchandise. I produced 2 records. I did a documentary as a film director and editor for Morbid Angel. Everything. And finally, when I just retired from the whole scene, I was just like, well, wow, like, what are they going to do without me? Well, life goes on. They found somebody else, and it's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's cool.
Yeah. But I'm sure if you wanted to come back, they're like, oh yeah, come on back, right?
I bet. Well, I talk to them. I talk to the guitar player all the time on the telephone.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy, and he's always said anytime I ever wanted to come back, I could come back. From what I can tell, I've never really been fired from anything. I just kind of moved on.
Yeah, that's always a good plus, because it tells people that you're.
From what I can tell, you never know, right? From what I can tell,
Yeah, they haven't fired me yet, as far as I can tell. Yeah.
No, they were like when I said I'm leaving, they're like, all right, good, don't let the door hit you in the rear.
Right. Right.
So who knows? Maybe people hate me, and I just don't, and I'm oblivious.
Nobody. How could somebody hate you, man? I love you right now. I love your guitar right now. But okay, so for our aspiring managers, who want to be tour managers, can you tell us what makes a great manager to be on the road, or do you have any don't do's or do's?
Well, I can say this as far as professionalism in a tour management situation. Okay, you're going to be dealing with a lot of people that are going to be giving you a decent amount of money every day.
Yeah,
because you have to collect the guarantees for the bands, you have to manage the merchandise money, and all that stuff. And you are essentially the Bank of America. When you are the one-man Bank of America, and you are responsible for the tour's ability to stay afloat and or make a profit if it's possible. Some tours are just designed to lose money because they are promotional materials for the band trying to just do something. So they're spending money to look cool.
Right.
And even though there's no payoff, but having a professional attitude and acting professionally when there are thousands and upwards around millions of dollars at stake is an axiom. So you are the face of the band. As a tour manager, you are the face of the band professionally, not artistically. That's the band's job.
Right.
You are the face professionally, so you have to maintain a professional attitude when you're dealing with the business end of it.
Yeah.
And you should. So the best advice I could ever give to anybody that wants to get into tour management or wants to know how to act as a tour manager is like, you are the only thing that's corporate on the tour. Act like it.
Yeah. And
act like it.
And managers also do a lot of things. They also book the bands, correct? Or do you have a booking?
No.
Okay.
You have booking agents that book the bands.
Okay.
You have people that's their job. They're there to go find shows. A manager, you have management, and then you have tour management, right? Mm-hmm. So management, they're the people that deal with the record labels. They deal with the publicists. They deal with the booking agents. They deal with the overall business of the band.
Right. Tour
managers deal with the business of the band while they're on tour.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Whatever they need, where to stay, right? Or
you're booking the hotels. You're getting the bus. You're getting the bus rental done. Yeah. You're getting bananas for the dressing room. You're getting all this stuff. Yeah. Yeah. All the stuff that the guy with the cricket bat in Spinal Tap did. That's what you're doing.
Oh, okay. Nice. 2 more questions, and then we're gonna send you off to so you can go get something to eat or something. I'm not sure if hungry right now, but all right. So 4 bands. If you had a Mount Rushmore of 4 bands, which ones would they be? Out of every thing that you like, which I know that's a hard question.
No,
No,
that's not fair.
I
That's not
know,
fair.
I know.
That's not fair, mate, because there's so much awesomeness out there.
Yeah.
Um, if I had, okay, let's can we rephrase it as if I was having a dinner party, who would I want there?
Yes, yes. Let's do that. Yes,
Let's do that.
that's
Okay.
yes.
So
Yes,
obviously the members of Queen, the members of the Beatles,
okay.
members of Styx, the members of the Beach Boys, members of Kiss, members of Metallica,
Can I
member.
stop you right there because I got a question
Sure.
about Kiss. Do you think they're ever
Sure.
going to retire?
Well, I mean,
Because
Gene
they
Simmons
said,
is already playing. Well, Gene Simmons is already playing live shows.
yeah,
You know,
I
as
don't,
the Gene Simmons band.
right,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah, but that's still. I mean, come on, that's yeah.
well, I think that Kiss, as we knew it, is done.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, because I come
Uh,
out with virtual stuff, right? After,
well, the virtual characters thing. I mean, that'll fly for about 10 minutes.
yeah,
I think that Kiss is is an entity. So I think that what'll wind up happening is there'll be like a Vegas show where people are playing the role of Kiss, and you'll have a guy out there who's dressed like Gene Simmons, and he does the tongue and the fire and the blood, and a guy with Paul Stanley who wears the guitar really well, and an Ace and all that, and they're gonna go out there and they'll have the bombs, and they're gonna play all the awesome songs, and it'll be just like watching Kiss, even though it's not Kiss,
right.
and that's okay. I think that what they built were cartoon characters of themselves.
Yes,
And
right.
that's that is such a great business model.
Yes,
I like there's Gene Simmons the person, and there's Gene Simmons the guy on stage with the makeup and the bat wings and all that stuff.
right.
And it happens to be the same name, Gene Simmons, right?
Yeah,
Um, but even that's a stage name. But out of makeup, he's Gene Simmons, that kind of thing, and that's just great because
Yeah.
it'll live forever. Forever, the idea of Kiss can exist.
yeah.
Unlike bands that are real people, like Queen. And with Freddie's gone, and there'll never be another Freddie Mercury. You might get a guy that kind of sounds like him, looks like him, plays like him, whatever. But it's not Freddie. It's a guy, that kind of looks like him. It's a caricature. It's a cartoon, And Kiss is a living cartoon,
Right.
and that's a totally different thing.
Yeah. Have you
So anyway,
have you seen Guar? Because
Yeah.
Guar is exactly like Kiss. The band can live forever because they're in costume.
yeah, I did shows with Guar years and years ago.
Oh, okay. Such nice
In the
guys.
mid '90s. In the
Yeah.
mid '90s, when they were like exploding, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
I did a tour with a band called the Genitorturers, and they had Guar. They were with Guar for I think 5 or 6 dates,
Yeah.
and it was a lot of fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
Uh, uh, they're really cool people. I've met them.
Yeah.
Uh,
They are such nice guys. Yeah.
yeah,
Like-
I know that Odorous, the main singer, I think he passed away.
Yeah. Dave Rocky. Yes, he did pass away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he passed away, and the few times that I had the opportunity to talk to him, he seemed like really fun,
Yes. he was.
and just a character. And I remember seeing him on Fox News. He was on a show called Red Eye on Fox News, where he played the intergalactic
Yeah.
guy, and I'm thinking
Yeah.
to myself, like, how did the singer of Guar get on Fox News?
Right. It's called Greg
You know?
Gutfeld loves the band.
Greg
That's
Gutfeld,
why-
yeah.
That's why. Yeah, but
Now, years ago, when I was out with Morbid Angel, I invited Greg Gutfeld to a show in New York City,
really.
and he responded, and he said, he was like, I would love to come because I love Morbid Angel,
Right.
but he was in the middle of writing a book and he had a deadline, and so he's like, I just can't.
Yeah.
I have only so many hours to write in a
Right.
day, and your show is right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I appreciate it. Thanks. We were ready. We had a
Yeah.
whole section in Irving Plaza roped off for him and everything, but he did write and tell us that he couldn't make it. But yeah, that guy's for real. That guy,
Oh.
Greg Gutfeld, is for real. I'm just letting you know, he's for real. He's a real dude.
He's like the top. He's like the number one host or something in the world right now, which is great. My dad lives in there.
He's got the largest number of viewership in late night.
Yes, he does. And that is
In late night.
Fallon, Kimmel, whoever you got, he's the man right now. But
yeah, he's dominating the Tonight Show, and that should say something.
That's pretty rare, yeah. But going back on Otis Youngest and David Buck, I had a fortunate opportunity to get a picture with him, and he was such a sweetheart of a guy. He'd say, "Yeah, come on, dude," So I got a picture with Otis, which is very, very rare, because they don't do a lot of pictures with people. I've been told. So that's awesome for me,
That's great, man. Yeah, if you're a fan and you got your picture with them, I'm lucky at the theater that I work at. I get a lot of people coming through that were outside of my circle when I was touring, and I'm huge fans of, and then they show up in my theater and I get to hang out and talk to them and all of that, and it's a blast.
Right.
Like one of the bands is Striper. I love Striper.
Yeah.
And I love Striper. And I got them booked into the theater, and it was just to be able to hang out and talk. Matter of fact, I got both the guitar players in Striper to play my Brian May guitar. They wanted to play it because at the time I had it in my office, and I'm like, "You guys played one of these things before?" And they're like, "Nah, let's break it out. Let's check it out." And they hook it up to their rigs, and they're just jamming on this guitar, and they're like, "Man, this is awesome." And I was thinking to myself, "This is awesome. Are you kidding?"
Right. I should have recorded it. Right.
You guys are Striper. You guys rule.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Last question, and we might have to rephrase this too, because I'm not sure how this is gonna be. But I always ask this question to my guests. Is there one band, one artist, or one song that you can listen to right now, but you can't tell me or your wife or your daughters how, or anybody, how it makes you feel deep inside your soul?
Is there a song that invokes some sort of emotional response from me that I'm not allowed to show people?
You're not allowed. You can't physically tell them about how it makes you feel. An artist, band, or song.
Well, if I tell you, then that ruins it, doesn't it?
No, yeah, kind of, but I mean, you can tell me the song or the title, and I'm like, okay, that's fair,
No, I mean, a song that invokes an incredible emotional response. Is the song "The Show Must Go On," which is the last song on Innuendo from the band Queen.
Yes.
Queen's record Innuendo. That song, "The Show Must Go On," was intended to be the curtain call song for Freddie Mercury, and it was supposed to be the last thing that he recorded or whatever. At least it was presented that way when the album came out. Right. Apparently, according to he continued to record after the record. The Innuendo came out, and those recordings wound up coming out later on. But at the time in '91, I believe, or I think it was '90 or '91 when he passed away. If you listen to the lyrics of that song and realize that it's supposed to be his swan song, and this is it. This is supposed to be, it really puts you into his brain and what was going on.
Right. Well, that's a great answer, and I can't elaborate on that because it means so much to you. So, I mean, and that's what I wanted from you is your feeling from the song, song that you really can't tell us about how it makes you feel inside. So you did perfect. Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So.
Now the secret's out.
Yeah. Yeah. But okay. So do we have any more albums or singles or anything planned for the near future coming out?
Well, I mean, this just came out. A month ago.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be working on a new Apex Zenith record, which is 80s synth pop. I already put out an Apex Zenith record about a year or so ago. I guess it's a little under 2 years now.
Yeah.
And that is a continuation of the Synth Lord. And then once I put out this next Apex Zenith record, once that's done, then I will work on the final Cosmic Punch record, because I believe in doing everything in trilogies. Right. So even though technically this is the fourth Cosmic Punch record, it'll be the third as a solo.
Okay.
And so therefore it's the trilogy, right? And then once the final Cosmic Punch record is done, then I will move on to recording other types of music. It's going to be impossible to get me to stop recording and writing songs because I own all the gear and nobody can tell me no. So I'm only limited by my ability to play, my ability to sing, which I guess is questionable. But it's subjective.
Right.
It's subjective, you know. And my ability to mix and make records. I mean, I always like to joke about my dozens of fans all the flat the earth, that listen to my music.
Right.
But I mean, all I want to do is put a smile on people's faces and let them. I write pure escapism. I'm not trying to preach to anybody,
right,
or anything like that. And I guess Lord love the people that do. That's just not my thing.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. So everybody that's listening to this audio version and the video version, thank you. And go to cosmicpunch.com and buy all of this stuff. Download all of this stuff, especially for all Nerdkind, which just released last month. We talked about. And he is on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're not on TikTok yet.
Man, what am I gonna do?
I can't.
What can I do in a minute? I can't do anything in a minute.
Exactly. I don't understand TikTok either, so I'm right there with you. Yeah. So, we do love you on When Words Fail Music Speaks. So please come back anytime you want to. I feel like we became best friends right now, right?
Yeah, it was a pleasure doing your show.
Yes, sir. And feel free to come on back anytime, okay?
You bet.
All right. And with that said, everybody, thank you for listening to the show. And always remember, when words fail, music speaks. Bye, guys.